What's up, guys? Welcome to B Sports Picks. So yesterday we went on a 7-5 run, so it was a slight break-even day. That brings our total record in the last 2 days to 21-5. We had a blowout day 2 days ago, which was a 14-0, and then yesterday was a slight break-even day. I am going to give you 5 teams in the NBA that I'm looking at. 2 of them is going to be on a 2-leg parlay, and then 3 of them are going to be on a 3-leg parlay. That's the only way I'll touch these games today, just because it's already very deep into getting into the playoffs. A lot of teams are just sitting out starters and stuff like that. So be very careful with your plays in the NBA. Also, college is not playing today, and the NHL only has 1 play. So there's not a lot of stuff going on. Let me just show you what I see, and we'll go from there. So again, I'm just going to very quickly show you the receipts of what happened yesterday, and then I'll get right into the plays. 21-5 record in the last 2 days. So for the month of March, we're hitting at a 66.5%, 121 wins with 61 losses. That's a 66.5% hit rate. And our very best plays right now are the parlays. So if you're going to be serious about this business, you have to be tracking your stuff just like this. I already know exactly how many wins I have, exactly how many losses, what type of plays they are. If, certain thing is not working, the other one is working. You need to know all that stuff. You need to be tracking your bets. So very quickly, I threw this out there on the VIP. You can see Connecticut, they hit for us. We took the Blue Jackets and Utah Mammoth at a +1.5 each for NHL. That hit. This was a live bet inside for Red Storm for college, and then the Nuggets at a -6.5. That hit. And then we had a 3-leg parlay. This was actually thanks to one of the viewers. So one thing I will tell you, if you want to share your picks, let me know what you're looking at. We'll take a look at it. This was one of the people that is actually a viewer from YouTube that gave this to me. So I appreciate that. This was a win. Then we actually had this one as a live, which was an under for the Timberwolves and an over for the Wizards. And then we also took Arizona. I talked about this one yesterday on yesterday's video. And then I took a 3-leg right here, which was Auburn, Arizona, and Iowa State. All 3 of those came through for us. If you've been missing out on these plays, just check out my channel. We've been giving out a lot of free picks for a very long time. Especially in March, we went like a massive run. So make sure you check out the link in the description and then click on where it says free picks so you don't miss out on these free picks. All right, so there's 2 different things I want to explain here. The first one is going to be fading heavy favorites that are locked in. And this only is the picture for the playoffs. So right now we're currently looking at the playoffs scenario. They're getting closer to the playoffs. So what this first section is looking at very heavy favorites, meaning that the opposite team is getting a lot of points on the other side. Plus the heavy favorites have nothing to play for. So let me explain what this is. This is actually for today's games. So if you look at the 76ers, they have a very large spread. The OKC Thunder, they already clinched it. These 3 games, they fit this scenario perfectly. Let me explain what this is. So 76ers, if you look at the spread I think is like +15, okay? So you can get the bet at +15. That means that they can lose the game as long as they don't lose by 16 and you'll win the bet. So that's what this heavy spread means, okay? So if you look at the 76ers, they're going against OKC, and this is the key right here. OKC is already clinched. What this means is that they already locked in the #1 seed. They don't give a shit about covering the spread at all. There's no motivation to cover their spread at all. All they care about is winning the game. They don't care about getting 20 points to win over 20 points. So I hope this is making sense. So this is where the system comes in. You look at the Heat and the Spurs, they fall under the same scenario. It's a clinched road game versus a desperate home dog. So in this one, it does not fit our system because Miami is actually fighting to get into playoff positioning, and the Spurs really don't care. All they care about is winning the game. They don't care about covering the spread. So this actually doesn't fit our scenario. But now if we look at the Bucks, same scenario as above. The Bucks. So in this scenario that I just talked about with the Heat, you're going to look at the Heat, okay, to cover the spread. You're also going to look at the 76ers to cover the spread. And then you're going to look at the last one here is Milwaukee. They want to win this game. They're at home desperation, and it's an overpriced favorite bubble. Again, these 3 teams, OKC, Spurs, and Clippers, all 3 of them really want to win this game, but they don't care about covering these spreads, and most of these guys are going to just be coasting. And what this means is they're going to sit out their starters, things like that. They're going to be rested for the playoffs. Now, on the other side, they desperately want to win. Philadelphia does not, but the Heat and Milwaukee, they do. So in this case, you can get, so this is the way you would play this. You would get Philadelphia at a plus like 25.5. You would get like Miami at a plus 15.5, and you would do Milwaukee at a plus 20.5. That's an example. You don't have to go exactly what I'm saying there, but that's the way you would play this. So I hope that made sense. If not, let me explain it very simply. You're going to look for heavy, super heavy favorites that are locked into the playoffs, and you're going to go and see if the underdogs have a reason to play. In this case that I gave you today, 2 of the 3 do match that. It's Miami, they do want to win. Milwaukee doesn't want to win. Philadelphia is pretty much done, so they don't really care, and they have a lot of injuries, so I would not really touch that game. I would really be looking at Miami and Milwaukee. And what you could do is a 2-leg parlay plus like 20.5 or something like that. Now, what I'm going to do in this case here, I'm going to be looking at the other side now. Now I'm looking at super heavy favorites that definitely want to win the game. Okay, that's opposite of what I was just talking about. So there's 2 scenarios for the playoffs. The first one is what I just said. The second one is looking at super heavy favorites that actually want to win this game. They either want to win because they want better positioning, they want better seeding, whatever the reason may be. They need to win this game. So I'm going to click onto the NBA right here. By the way, if you guys want this tool, it's called the SharpEdge. You get 2 weeks for free. Go to the link in the description for that. So on the back-to-back right here, you can see Portland and Brooklyn. They both played yesterday, so there's no rest advantage there. However, Toronto did play yesterday, and Utah has a 1-day rest advantage. Again, this is very important during regular season, but it's also very important when you get closer to the playoffs. So when you're looking at this stuff, I'm just going to scroll down here. You can see Pistons and Lakers. The projected scores are very similar, 114 to 114. So there's no real edge on that game. Then you got the Magic. They're supposed to win by 11, 123 to 112. You got the Thunder. They're supposed to win by 14. The projected is 118. 76ers is 104. So this is what I was saying about the 76ers. You can literally get them at a plus 25.5 and parlay that with something else. So the Spurs, they're supposed to win this by 3. The Hawks, they're supposed to win this by 11. The Rockets are supposed to win this by 6. The Rockets are supposed to win this by 6. The Raptors are supposed to win this by 10. However, you got to be careful with the Raptors because they're on a back-to-back and the Jazz are rested. However, the Jazz are just complete trash. And at this point, they're literally just coasting and wasting time at this point. So I would stay away from that game completely. I would have not touched that game at all. Next, we have the Warriors and the Mavericks. You can see it's too close to call at a 114 each. Then we got the Trailblazers on a back-to-back, but they're supposed to win by 15. But then you also have the Nets on a back-to-back, and pretty much the Nets are done. So I am actually liking the Trailblazers. I took them yesterday and they got blown out, but they're in a scenario right now where they have to win. I don't think they're going to cover this huge spread, but I do like them today. Same thing with the Clippers. Are supposed to win today by 14, and the Bucks are pretty much done. Now, having said all that, I do like 3 different plays that are heavy favorites that are supposed to win today, and the opposition is nothing at all. They're pretty much done. And as long as I don't care if they cover the spread or not, I'm going to buy it back so many points, and it's going to be a 3-leg that it should be a no issue. So let me just give you the play so you can check it out. Now, before I give you the play, guys, go to the link in the description, click on free picks. Also, check us out for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month on the VIP. You get all the access to all the picks. And then Discord is 7 days for free, and then the Sharp for free. So check that out. Again, link is in the description. One final thing I'll note before I give you the play is the Sharp plays. You want to definitely take a look in here every single morning. It gives you the top plays based on all the information that we have from about 12 different sources, and it's all filtered out, and it tells you exactly which ones you should be looking at. On this level right here, this page, it has been hitting at a 65% hit rate with doing 0 research. Meaning, if it shows up right here, the research is already done, and there's no other extra research you need to do. If you were to take every single one of these plays that says nuclear or strong, on those plays, it's in the Discord, and they've been hitting at a 65% hit rate, again, without any extra research because it's already done. I don't always take these plays, but they've been hitting very dramatically. I don't always take these plays, but they have been extremely strong in the month of March, and they're getting better and better because we keep making it better. Again, that's called the Sharp Plays, and it's inside the SharpEdge in the link in the description, 2 weeks for free. Same scenario I just mentioned, but this is actually for player props on the overs and on the unders. It goes through every single one of the props. It looks at what it gives you actual score on all the different props that are playing today. It actually gives you a score over here on why you should be looking at these players. I'm not going to break it down here, but now we added the player props, and it does the same scenario where it's looking at all the data from all the games, like all the injuries and stuff like that. So this is going to be very powerful also, and that's also part of the SharpEdge as well. All right, guys, having said all that, I actually do like the Magic at a -2.5. I like the Hawks at a -2.5, and then I like the Trailblazers at a -3.5. You can see the juice is at a 192. If you don't want to pay that much juice, then add more points to the Trailblazers, for example. I would not touch that because they're on a back-to-back. Atlanta have been extremely hot on covering spreads, and then the Magic are -2.5. You can see how heavy these juiced odds are, but it's worth it in this scenario because of all the reasoning that I talked about. I have paragraphs upon paragraphs per game to explain this stuff, which I'm not going to bore you with. Just know that I did the research, and this is a very strong 3-leg parlay. And if you know me, I don't like doing 3-leg parlays. My most I like to do is 2-leg parlays. But in this scenario today, this makes sense. All right, guys, let's get to 5,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate you all that are commenting, liking, and subscribing. If you haven't done so, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about these plays. Let me know what you're going with. Sometimes I'm actually getting plays from the people that are commenting. Then I do my research from there, because I know that you guys do your own research as well. So if you guys have a strong play, put it in the comments. I would have checked that out as well. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day.